To really understand what electricity actually is, we need to take a look at the science behind it at the atomic level. Atoms are small particles, and put simple, they are the basic building blocks of everything around us, whether it is our chairs, desks, or even our own body. Atoms are made up of even smaller elements called protons, electrons, and neutrons. When electrical and magnetic force move electrons from one atom to another, an electrical current is formed.
Firstly, to generate electricity, you require a fuel source such as coal, gas, hydrogen, or wind. Regardless of the chosen fuel, most generators operate on the same proven principle. Turn a turbine so that it spins magnets surrounding it by copper wire to get the flow of electrons across the atoms, in which turns generates electricity. Coal and gas work in similar ways. They are both burned to heat water, which creates steam and turns the turbine. Renewable energy sources such as hydropower and wind operate slightly differently, with either the water or the wind being used to turn the turbines and generates the electricity.
Electricity is studied in our school in different subjects, such as technology, physics, or even history. Apart from the pure theory, we try to make them understand how electricity works. For example, in Science Day, our students experiment with a Van der Graaf generator, a device designed in 1931 to create static electricity and make it available for experimentation. This device produces extremely high voltages, as high as 20 million volts. Van der Graaf generators are described as constant current electrostatic devices. When you put a load on a Van der Graaf generator, the current remains the same. It's the voltage that varies with the load. In the case of the Van der Graaf generator, as you approach the output terminal sphere with a grounded object, the voltage will decrease, but the current will remain the same. But maybe the most curious experiment our students do about electricity is a Stirling generator.
The Stirling engine was made in the 19th century, but it is still used today.
It needs a hot part and a cold part.
The hot air expands, making the balloon inflate, and the cold air contracts, making the balloon deflate.
If we connect the engine with the generator, we can produce electricity. This invention is still used nowadays in submarines and satellites.
To study the first steps of electricity generation in Spain, we have to look back until the 19th century. Of course, big cities such as Madrid and Barcelona were the first places where this energy was used. However, we will also discover that next to our school we can find one of the first energy plants of our country. Everything started in 1852 in Barcelona, when Mr. Domènech illuminated his beauty modernist pharmacy. That same year, in Madrid, we found the first stage to illuminate the main streets, but we have to wait until 1875 to find the first neighborhoods completely electrified in Barcelona, where the Spanish Electricity Society was created a few years later.
Urbanization was an increasing process in Spain in the last decades of the 19th century, and electricity helped enormously providing energy for street illumination, trams, factories, and many other new devices. At first, direct carbon electricity had thermal and hydroelectric origin, so the electric plants had to be close to big cities and factories. But in the first years of the 20th century, alternating current appeared, and at the same time, big hydroelectric plants were built taking advantage of the mountainous relief of Spain. Precisely, this is the point where history of electricity situates our region in the very middle of the plot.
By taking advantage of the gravity and the water cycle, we have tapped into one of the nature's engines to create a useful form of energy. In fact, humans have been capturing the energy of moving water for thousands of years. In order to generate electricity from the kinetic energy in moving water, the water has to move with sufficient speed and volume to spin a propeller-like device called a turbine, which in turn rotates a generator to generate electricity. Today, harnessing the power of moving water to generate electricity, known as hydroelectric power, is the largest source of emission-free, renewable electricity in the world.
In our region, rivers have been used to create energy for old factories for centuries. River Manzanares' course offers us the site of ancient water and fulling mills in ruins. But in 1901, this river was the perfect setting to build the first hydroelectric plant in Madrid, the Navallar plant, that is still in use. The turbine for this plant was originally moved by the water brought from the Santillana Dam in Manzanares el Real. The 4 pipes were 8 kilometers long, and the drop was 100 meters. That way, factories and mills could be settled close to our villages, and electricity lighted the big city of Madrid in the first years of the new century.